What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Art Shack. I am starting a brand new real-time series. This is going to be a how to draw a beach series. Probably going to be a 5 or 6 part video series. Part 1 is going to be about the sketch, so I hope you all enjoy it and check it out. Alright everyone, so let's get started with drawing a beach scene. So here is a few sketches that I've been working on. This one I was working on and I had a couple good ideas for it, but overall I didn't really feel it. But after I did this one, this long landscape down here, this is the one I'm going to be doing. When it comes to beach scenes, I'm more of a fan of those scenes that have the large beach dunes and things like that, mainly because that is the type of beach scenes that I've always grown up with. Being in the New Jersey area, there's no palm trees or anything like that. Just have a lot of sand dunes, which are really pretty. So that's what I got here. I got some sand dunes and some vegetation, then some beach grass over here, and then in the background I got the ocean. That's basically what it's going to be about, and then of course I'm going to have some clouds going around. It's going to be pretty simple. I'm probably going to make this a 5 or 6 part video. I have it planned out to be 5 videos, and the 6th video is just going to be if I need to do touch-ups or anything like that. That's what I have planned so far. We'll see how everything goes. But in order to get started for this one, I'm going to throw up a screen with everything that you need to draw this. It's mainly just going to be a sketching pencil and maybe an eraser. That's about it. Next video, I'm going to actually start doing this in pastels. So, I know a lot of you have been asking for color, so I'm going to do a colored real-time drawing series. So hopefully I'll get a lot of you excited for that one. Alright, so I'm going to start off with an HB pencil, and I'm going to be transferring this to here. I'm not going to be doing a grid, mainly because this is it's a fairly simple scene. I'll be showing you step by step how to do this, no problem. So in my other real-time sketches, I have been doing a grid to help me transfer everything over, mainly because they're a bit more complicated than what this one will be, as far as composition is concerned, but overall I'm not too worried. So what I've done here is this paper is a Bristol paper, and it's a 9 by 12, but I've trimmed it so that now it is 7 by 12. So I have 7, 3, so about 3. I want to make my horizon line. That's what I want to do first. So I'm just measuring out where I want it to be. I'm actually doing this upside down. Yeah, that happens. Okay, so now this makes sense. Yeah, it's half of 7 is 3.5. So I'm gonna do my horizon line above center. So I was looking at about 4 inches. I may do 4.25 inches on this. Those of you that are not in the US, I'm not sure of the exact measurement conversions for you, so I do apologize. But it is going to be, I don't have room for all this stuff on my table. All these problems. Alright, so do it like 4.25. So I'm going to have more land than there is sky. That is my plan. Alright, so with those 2 marks, you can line up your ruler. And I'm going to create a light line going across. Maybe go back once. And there you go. That is the horizon line. Just going to erase out these little dots that I made. Just using the eraser stick. Of course it's not helping. This is where the electric eraser might help. You know what? I'm not too concerned about it. Sometimes pencil will do this. It'll just get into the sort of the grain of the paper and just it'll be so persistent and not let itself come out. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna get all bent out of shape over it. So alright, so let's I'm wondering if doing this, I might need to lower this line just a little bit. I'm gonna go with my original of about 4¼ here. I'm sorry, 4 inches here. I'm looking at what I have on my sketch and what I have there, and this is gonna work out much better. Alright, so there's a little bit of residue, but there's gonna be so much pastel on this. Oh, and just to clarify, it's gonna be a regular chalk pastel. I'm not gonna be doing the oil pastel. I have a lot more colors in pastel than I do oil pastel, so I think I'm fine there. It's just this one little mark that is being persistent. Alright, so let me at least get past the horizon line here and not keep you guys humming and hawing here about what I'm doing. Alright, so this paper is going to be kind of divided in half a little bit, but not really. So I have... So again, here's what I'm going to be drawing from. I'm going to be drawing the bottom part here. So I'm just going to be checking out what I have and replicating it as best as I can. And to be honest, I don't think I need to copy everything exactly, because it's going to change quite a lot. I have to transfer it. And I'm noticing that I can't really do some HB. I gotta do it with a 2B. It's way too light for the camera. Alright, so what I'm drawing right now is the tops of the shrubs or bushes that are gonna be on top of the sand dunes. Okay, now you can see it. Good. Good. Alright, so I mean, all these are gonna change shape so much as I draw them in, or color them in rather, that I'm really not concerned with how they look at all. I just want to make sure that the general shape of everything is similar. Alright, there's a little dune here, and this is going to have a little bit of stuff on it. But overall, these dunes are kind of going to be filled with shrubbery and things like that. So they're going to be quite a lot of fun to draw on. So even though this composition is rather simplistic, simplistic isn't a bad thing. It's still going to have quite a bit of visible details in it, so it is going to require some amount of different colors and things like that to draw. The one thing I'm not sure about is when I do get to the coloring aspect of this drawing, as to whether or not if the colors that I use will translate into the colors that you use if you use a different brand. You know what I mean? If the different brands, if the colors are named the same or not. Because I'm mainly going to be using Derwent pencil pastels with a couple of stick pastels here and there. So I'm still just kind of penciling in some of the vegetation here. I'm not really getting into too much detail with it, because as soon as I add pastel into it, everything I'm adding in is going to be lost, pretty much, for the most part. So alright, so quickly moving over, somewhat. Alright, so I got some more sand dunes hanging out over here. Now I want this side to just reach over this horizon line, just like that. Kind of helps to frame everything, give it a nice overall flow. That's typically why I like to do that. Alright, so this line's going to come over here, and then we're going to have a nice mound of sand hanging out right in here where this line is. Something like that. So what this is going to do, it's going to create sort of like a walkway path right here to the water. This is where you would kind of walk through. Yeah, in the New Jersey area, there's a lot of beaches like this. Quite a few of them, although a lot of beaches here have boardwalks on them with loud amusement parks and things like that. So there's some areas that still have a lot of natural beach dunes, and it's really cool. And a lot of them are protected by the state. A lot of the natural wildlife will hang out in there, so they gotta protect it. Alright, so I'm gonna kind of circle out some of these areas here. So what I'm doing, see these areas, I have some beach grass. So I want to make sure that I remember where all this beach grass is going to be. Although, I mean, it's going to be like a touch and go basis on where I feel that it's going to be needed. But that's pretty much what's happening there. And then what's left here is going to be the ocean. So you can kind of create a little bit of a beach right here, but not much. Because of the way that we're looking at this, it's going to be very, very tiny, like sand area, you know, where the sand meets the water. It's mainly that you're just going to be seeing water. But we can do a little bit right there. It's not a big deal. And then we can just kind of, I mean, I'm just going to kind of do this that way I kind of know that it's water. That way, you know, because sometimes when you draw a sketch and then you come back to it after a long period of time, you can sometimes forget what you intended for it to be if your sketch isn't that clear. But in this case, it's fairly, I think, self-explanatory as to what this is eventually going to be. So these are all going to be like shrubs and things like that. So there's going to be a couple of sticks and stuff that you can see hanging around in this area, and then that's all going to kind of make its way down to this walking path, which will meet up with perhaps some grass down here. So I mean, all this stuff we can work on at a later time. The last thing I'm going to draw in is just some of these clouds. So I want to kind of at least get some sort of feel. Now I wanted to do some of these horizon clouds. I haven't done that yet, I don't think, in one of my drawings, so I thought that would be something pretty cool. And then these clouds can have just, you know, have multiple layers. I find that clouds are very fun to draw. And I don't think I've done a real-time tutorial on how to draw clouds and colors, so that'll be a nice bonus for everyone who's looking to sort of get an idea of how to do that. Now I'm not too sure yet on how exactly I want these clouds to look. I think I want to have a warmer tone to them. So it's going to be sort of set later in the day, so it's going to be some higher clouds in here as well. But it's all going to probably remain like this, but it's going to change slightly when I actually really get into this. So I'm not too overly concerned with how everything's looking right now. So as I said, this is a sketch, but don't get me wrong, the sketch is quite important. If you know, the sketch is where you establish your composition, all your proportions and everything like that. So it's sort of like building a foundation of a high-rise building. If your measurements are off and the angles and everything are slightly off, when you keep building that building up higher and higher and higher, it's going to become increasingly unstable and eventually perhaps crumple down. So it's the same thing with drawing a sketch. It's just mainly to get your ideas out, but at the same time, you want to make sure that the general line work and placement, everything like that is sort of in its right placement. So, yeah, because if this stage is wrong, everything else on top of it is also going to be somewhat flawed in some way. So you just want to keep that in mind. But don't get too bent out of shape out of just drawing the general sketch here. It's mainly just to play around with ideas and see what you can come up with, and whether or not if you enjoy it or not. So these clouds, yeah, we'll see how they go. I was thinking about doing some low clouds, and definitely interested in doing something but we'll see how things go. But as far as the sketch is concerned, this is pretty much all I wanted to get done, just to show you how everything is going to sort of take shape. I know this sketch is kind of light, it doesn't have too much in it, but I'm mainly going to let the color and everything else like that going to take a serious role in this drawing. So this is pretty much it as far as the pencil stage. So, alright everyone, so I want to thank you all very much for watching. A thumbs up is always great if you enjoyed it. And leave a comment, let me know what you think about the drawing so far, and what you possibly may like to see in this, come out of this. So I'm going to be reading and then seeing what is being suggested and perhaps take some into consideration. But we'll see what goes on. Ultimately, we'll see how everything turns out. But alright, everyone, I will see you all later. Take care.